This episode brought to you by the Warriors in Quiet Waters Salute to Service, a night to remember, honoring America's veterans and active duty heroes. Dinner and a powerful keynote from retired Green Beret Lieutenant General Mark C. Schwartz, followed by live music. Get tickets at warriorsinquietwaters.org.
Sweet.
I'm blind.
Well, let's start talking then. We're at the Jack Creek Preserve in Ennis, I guess?
It's technically Ennis, yeah. Our address
Ennis adjacent.
Okay.
Our address is Ennis.
All right. It's a 4,500 acre conservation easement that connects two sections of the Lee Metcalf Wilderness. This year it's celebrating its 20th anniversary of being a foundation. And I am sitting here with Dottie Fossel, who is the co-founder of the Jack Creek Nature Preserve, and Addison Perryman, who is the Conservation Education Director, and Abigail King, Executive Director. Thank you so much for hosting us out here.
Thank you
for having us.
Yeah. So, which Big Sky Country Club is this part of?
It is not. We are our own entity. We're a nonprofit. We are neighbors with Moonlight Basin, and it is a common misconception that we are part of an extension of Moonlight, but no, we are our own entity and our own property.
The property was purchased from Moonlight many years ago.
Okay, that's how it started.
And then we donated it as a preserve with conservation easements.
Wonderful.
I want to talk about the background a little bit, because it feels like I know we're part of the greater Yellowstone ecosystem
Correct.
here, but it feels like it's its own little mini national park. How did this happen?
When we purchased the land, we had conservation education in mind for mostly children, but we've expanded to adults too. And we thought it was too wonderful a spot to just keep to ourselves. We wanted to share it with others.
4,500 acres,
That's
am I
right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And was that the original purchase? Is that many acres, or did you guys expand?
We bought 5,000 acres first with a brother-in-law.
Okay.
And that we have our homes on, and 5,000 the next year, and that 4,500 became part of the preserve.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
What are the advantages to being part of the greater Yellowstone ecosystem?
I think just offering an extension. We're on the northern range of the greater Yellowstone ecosystem. It's habitat that's protected. Like she mentioned, the conservation easement. We can't have a lot of development. There's a building envelope. Square footage for buildings is restricted. But having this area protected allows wildlife to move through the greater Yellowstone ecosystem. To the north and the south, like you mentioned, is those wilderness areas.
Right.
So just having habitat that's set aside and is actively managed to be just wildlife habitat is super beneficial for all species of wildlife.
If it weren't for the Jack Creek Preserve, would there be a wildlife corridor between those two areas of wilderness?
I mean, wildlife is going to move where wildlife moves. We all know that, living in Montana. But that's what makes this place really special and really valuable, is that it is just habitat that they're moving through. They're not having to go through your backyard or cross through your pond,
Condo
hop
development.
a bunch of fences, cross a bunch of roads, encounter a lot of people where sometimes species get into some problems. It's really special in that way that they can just move continuously through healthy habitats.
It goes from the high meadows, the alpine meadows, down to the willow bottoms, to the creeks, a lot of creeks.
Yeah.
I know, I didn't come from here, and I used to say creek, now I have to say crick.
Okay.
But it's the same critter.
I refuse to say crick.
I know.
Learned
I know.
behavior, though.
I can
Yeah.
be here till I'm 102, and I think I'll still say creek, but also the southern is strong in me. So you guys have 4,500 acres here in an area that is of a high value. They're shooting Yellowstone down the street. Everybody's
Madison.
obsessed on the Madison.
The Madison is the new Taylor Sheridan show.
Oh, the Madison is the new
Yes,
Taylor
it's been
Sheridan show.
filming.
Yeah, it's going down the road. This area is highly sought after. How ironclad is the conservation easement?
That's always been a concern.
Sure.
but it's the best you can do. We picked the Montana Land Reliance to hold the easement,
Okay.
and we respected what they have done, and hopefully it will be ironclad.
Got it.
And we have a board of directors
Okay.
for the nonprofit that manages the preserve, and it has bylaws, and
Great.
I think as
They
long
help
as we
keep it
continue,
protected.
yeah.
Doesn't have local real estate developers nervous about the precedent that it sets to not develop this kind of
I don't know. I've never heard
situation?
anything.
I haven't heard
Going
anything
on
about
where
that.
That's been happening with land like Ted Turner's land right there by the canyon. Like he's protected all of that. I think hopefully it's a trend that people do where they're like, no, this is protected area, and I think people are okay with that.
Well, and if anything, it increases the value of properties around us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Because there's all this wilderness. Yeah.
You're from New York?
Correct.
Dottie, what brought
But
you out
never
here?
the city.
Never
Don't
the
ever
city.
say that, no.
Upstate?
Yeah, 50 miles north of the city, actually, near the
Okay.
Connecticut border.
What brought you to Montana?
Elk
initially?
tracks,
Nice.
fishing, Madison River, and a place for family to come to recreate in the summer and hike and enjoy the wilderness.
So you have abandoned New York at this point.
Absolutely.
That's
Yes.
fine. We're glad you're here. You've done so much good for Montana. Yeah, I love it when outsiders, we're outsiders, but I love it when people come into Montana and create wonderful things for this state, even restaurants, theaters, things like that. So, if you've got something good to bring, it's okay if you come in, but you can keep the badness outside of the state. So can anyone come visit this Jack Creek Preserve? Can anyone
So
just walk in?
we're not open to public recreation.
Okay.
We focus on habitat for wildlife and maintaining that, and then our conservation education programs. And so when people come to the preserve, it's through our programs. So whether it's a camp or an adult wildlife tracking class or a birding class or an open archery day, or we have wildlife speaker series every year where a subject matter expert comes and they talk, and those are open to the public. So it's with programming that people come.
It's like
So-
a vampire. You have to be invited in.
Yes.
But once
However,
Right.
we
Once you get
do
in the
have
room.
on the Ennis side, right at the gate, there is a trailhead there, the Jack Creek Trail. It's a 317 trail. It has a Forest Service easement on it. So you can navigate the whole way through the preserve to wilderness to the south and the north, all times a year.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's open to the public.
all
Some
right.
people can
We
hike
have,
part of
we
it
have a
for-
wildflower hike too that people enjoy, but again, it's led and supervised. We don't want people off the trail disturbing the wildlife.
Yeah.
Does a lot of hunting still happen on the property?
Yeah.
Not a lot,
Not a lot.
a limited amount
Limited.
of
We do
archery mostly.
coordinate with Fish,
Right.
Wildlife, and Parks to make sure that we're not offering too many hunts, but we allow access for usually 2 to 3 archery and 2 to 3 rifle hunts. Sometimes there'll be like a youth cow elk or a youth deer, buck, mule deer, or whitetail. And those are fundraising opportunities for us.
A woman's hunt or a disabled veteran's hunt as well. We've had,
We donated one to Warriors in Quiet Waters to a veteran in 2023, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, when somebody takes an elk or a deer, do you guys get a little taste? You
No,
know,
we just usually
They
get
cut you off
quotes
some
of
back
and
straps?
photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should make that a rule, though.
Yeah,
we
I
get the
know.
backstraps.
right?
We will
Come
accept
on.
backstraps.
Nothing wrong with that. How often do you encounter wildlife working here and spending time here?
There's a squirrel in the basement.
Yeah, I was going daily in a lot of different capacities. Kind of depends on time of year and
Right.
what we're doing. I mean, there's like we're hiking through or leading a field trip of students down the road. We're maybe not necessarily encountering that animal right then, but we're looking at presence, scat, sign, tracks, which
Yeah.
is awesome for adults and youth to learn about. We have our summer camps, and we get wildlife around there, and we're learning how to responsibly and ethically coexist with those species.
Right.
And I mean, we have a birding workshop, so We have a fox that likes
Joe,
to
you
use
would
this
love
area.
the birding workshop. You know it.
I
You
mean,
know
I'm getting into
it.
birding.
Yeah, no,
It
everybody
really is
should
a
get
thing.
into birding.
Like people joke about it, but it is strange. All of a sudden, you're just interested in bird calls at a certain age.
And
You're like,
they're really good indicators of ecosystem health. So like,
Nice.
it's a great thing. We have game cameras across the preserve, so we're kind of seeing what's moving and where, and it's a great way to see what species are utilizing the 4,500 acres of habitat.
Right.
So,
We've increased our game camera use just in the past couple years, and we've gotten at least 3 or 4 collared wolves.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. And I send those to FWP, and I think one of them was a collar that was no longer alive or active. Grizzly bears, close.
Yeah.
those grizzly bears.
Yeah, and a lot of black bears. What's really, I think, really interesting lately is seeing the juvenile wildlife, and so a lot of moose calves and
Yeah.
elk calves and fawns and
cubs.
bear
Bear
cubs.
cubs,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I think that's really indicative of the habitat that wildlife is bearing young here.
So, Dottie, you've been here the longest and seen, what's gone on in this area. Have you noticed a difference in the wildlife movement over the years as developments have been going on around here?
That's a great question.
Thanks.
And the answer is yes.
Okay.
Used to see big herds of elk,
Oh, yeah.
and now they're in smaller groups. I used to hear much more bugling.
Okay.
I think they've learned, because the wolves are here, to be in smaller groups and be quiet. So you don't see the big herds of elk anymore. At least I haven't.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of elk, but they're smaller herds and they're quiet.
Yeah, and I've heard that, like, in order to hunt elk now, people have changed from, like, getting up at 4 in the morning and waiting in the woods. Some people are hunting at night now because of the way the wolves have started hunting. So some people say, like, 4:35 p.m. is the time to, like, track an elk. But, yeah, a friend of mine was out elk hunting recently and was trying to bugle one and, was bugling back and forth with one for a little while. But he said it used to be so much easier to do, but now it's become difficult because they don't talk as much.
That's right.
I think like some of that could be attributed to like human development, also in the area. We don't know to the extent of that, like playing a role in their movements or their patterns or like group size, like you mentioned, or even that impact on predation.
Yeah.
And so those movements, yeah, hopefully somebody's doing a PhD somewhere on some of that
Yes,
stuff.
I know there's a lot of questions about the wolves and like their impact, reinstating a different type of wolf, all of that stuff
Right.
into the ecosystem and how they have affected. There's been a lot of good, creek beds and things like that not being overgrazed, but there's also some strange patterns that have developed in that process.
And we had a wolf expert on the podcast
Yeah.
talking about how they're using these devices that have AI built in now so that they can listen in on wolves and sort of filter out all the useless information and really focus on what is there that is valid. And
They speak
they're,
wolf.
They're able to decipher exactly how the wolves are talking to each other, which is cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We do see bigger herds down in the valley too. So like we have 2 pretty big ranches on either side of the Jack Creek drainage that you'll see them
Yeah.
go
Okay.
down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the camps and classes that you run. Are you teaching children survival skills around here?
Yeah.
And what can you teach Michelle?
What do you want to know? I guess would be my question.
I think
What's
I'd
a-
survive longer.
What's a quick tip that you teach the kids that we might be able to find?
If your water's half down, turn around.
Right? I know.
I feel like water, there's a lot of water here and you can
Yes.
filter it when you're out and about.
little
But
live
as a
straw.
general rule, like day hiking, that's a pretty good one just to remember in your brain.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I feel like I remember that because for some reason kids drink a lot of water when they're out and they bring little dinky water bottles that
Yes.
don't always cut it.
Always.
Or like huge 64 ounces and they get
Yeah.
tired of carrying it. But yeah, so water half down, turn around is a good one to remember. But we teach classes on all sorts of things. Our backcountry skills and is kind of like the outdoor survival. We call it backcountry preparedness. We have leave no trace. We're working on anything from shelter building to compass use and navigation. And then, like you were talking about with this wolf researcher, we have a wildlife research and management techniques course where they're using radio telemetry equipment that real
What is that?
biologists.
What
Radio,
is
here,
it?
you explain radio telemetry. I feel like
So
the short version.
the short version. So radio telemetry is for tracking wildlife, and
Yeah.
when they collar
Yeah.
wildlife, and there's all different ways. Like you can put a little transmitter on a bat or even a butterfly, I think,
Yeah.
these days. But I used to do radio telemetry as a biologist in my previous career on mostly amphibians and reptiles, and it's just a really neat way to show kids and the general public what goes into gathering data to make management decisions, and it's fun too. It's like Christmas and so this year we got 2 grants that helped us buy 2 sets of an educational kit that's a radio telemetry kit, and so it comes with an antenna, a receiver, and a reusable transmitter.
Wow.
And we go and hide the transmitter. One of these days we're going to hide it on one of the dogs and put it on one of the dogs and have
Have
them
it on
run
the
around.
move.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the kids have to track it and find it and locate.
Oh my gosh, Wallace would
listening.
love that.
Right?
Yeah.
He likes geocaching.
They love
Just-
it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like that.
For the younger kids, like they get to do that. It's really fun. And then for the older kids, they get to see what that means for wildlife management decisions. And so that you're tracking certain members of the population. What does that mean if it's cows or if it's bulls and elk and all sorts of stuff? And we both have degrees in wildlife and fisheries biology. And so I think that's a cool niche that we've found that makes us a little different than other outdoor education groups, is the wildlife management field techniques. And just kind of interesting to show people what goes into the day-to-day of a biologist.
Right, how you collect that data.
I mean, and that as a technology, that's just on the uptick.
Right.
We
Yeah.
had another episode where we were talking about cattle ranching and
And the
how they're
fencing.
incorporating
Yeah.
e-collars
Yeah.
into
Right.
that now. So
Yeah.
That'd be
it
huge.
all
And
goes hand in hand.
What is really awesome is all of these students, come from different backgrounds and have different aspirations in their careers. Like maybe some of them will be ranchers, or maybe they'll be biologists, or maybe they'll be a baker.
Right.
But getting to do that, they understand what goes into and the role that the public has, and that there's actual science informing wildlife management practices, which is going into informing hunting regulations like we were talking about earlier. And then we can kind of use that to talk about the role of hunting in wildlife management, and then that circles back to more of our skill-based classes like fly fishing and archery. And yeah, so pretty much we can tie it all together because
Nature
it's all
journaling.
connected, right? Conservation is so connected and multifaceted.
Yeah.
So we hit
And
on
I
a
like
lot
that
of
you're offering a women's retreat weekend
Yeah.
sometime soon. When is that happening?
We just had it at the end of August. So
Okay.
this was our 3rd one. And so we've been partnering with Artemis Medical Consultants.
Okay.
And it has been focusing on getting first aid certification,
Awesome.
but doing everything outdoors, and then learning a lot of that backcountry preparedness, shelter building, making a fire, and
Yeah.
But they
compass
do have a mushroom
stuff.
class coming up for
Yes.
adults.
fungi and
I have-
lichen,
I
October
have
4th.
an obsession with mushrooms. I don't know what it is, but I love them. Love all aspects of them. Eating them. I'm trying to grow them. All of that stuff. But yeah, so that comes up October 4th.
Yeah, that's a part of our adult programs, which we have expanded, like you mentioned earlier. This year we launched our lifelong learning series.
Okay.
And because every time we have a parent drop off a camper or bring a child to chaperone on a field trip, they're always like, well, I want to do summer camp and I want to learn these
Yeah.
skills. And so we listened to that feedback, and we have expanded our adult programming. And this lifelong learning series I mentioned, I don't know, 9. I think this is maybe the 10th class on a variety of topics. We had winter's wildlife tracking on snowshoes. We have fungi and lichen. Trying to get adults, because conservation, everybody is a steward
Yes.
of these places. Everybody's involved. People are recreating. And they need to know how to do that responsibly and ethically. And they have a lot of curiosities, like what mushrooms to eat and what berries to not eat. Those
yeah.
are important
I was
things
doing some
in
Googling this
Montana.
weekend. Yeah, with all this rain, we've had some crazy
Yeah.
mushrooms coming up in our backyard, and so I'm just pulling them up and seeing which ones I could maybe eat. And
Can't
definitely
always
not
have your phone on the cell reception.
Right.
So you never know. You may not get feedback.
Yeah,
in time.
exactly. Right. And so we work with a lot of awesome guest instructors for some of these classes who are, experts on their specific topics. but it's all about getting people, no matter how old you are, to be engaged in conservation, to learn new things in these places,
Right.
and to have an active role in the future, which is all about conservation. So
Yeah,
And
very
we're
important
getting
to me
great
as a science
feedback
teacher.
from these adult participants.
I bet.
They want more and more and more.
Yes,
sparking
no,
curiosity.
I'm absolutely interested.
Slippery
so-
slope once you.
Well, it's
start
fun,
learning.
and I
Right.
mean, we learn stuff when we do it,
Yeah.
and we meet the best people. I mean,
Yeah.
conservation brings the best people. Everybody cares about, has some innate connection to nature, and so anybody can really find a niche, whether it's, you know, bow hunting or fly fishing or
Nature journaling.
yeah, or nature journaling.
Watercoloring.
Yeah, you know,
There's
people
a lot.
can connect with that.
Definitely a thing
So-
that all Montanans can agree on.
Right, yeah. And whether you're, that's a good point. Like whether we have people visiting for just the season that they're here, you know, winter brings new people, summer brings new people. We've had people that are only visiting for short weeks come to some of our programs, and then we have people who've lived here for many, many years. Everybody can find something to learn in that amount of time. So
When you
I
were
think so.
talking about camps and
Yeah.
survival, I wanted to get back to the fact that we started with summer camps for
Yeah.
youth, for young people, with
Yeah.
all volunteers.
Wow.
And now we still use lots of volunteers in our various things. And for the last couple of years, we've had, maybe it's even 3 years, winter survival camps. You want to know how to survive? So
That's
the
probably
kids
something I
learn
do need.
something about winter survival as well.
yeah.
That's
That's
great.
actually one that all the adults say, we want to do an adult winter
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Maybe
I
we're
would like
working on
that. Yeah, I know summer survival, but I think I would probably perish in the winter if I had to survive something. So 20 years off Jack Creek Road. Are there any stories that stand out to you over the years? I know that you've probably been here the longest.
I'm thinking.
But are there any stories that stand out to you? Inspiring stories from youth or adults or something that stands out where you're like, this is the best job on the planet. I'm so glad I've done this.
Years ago, we had a group from, I believe it was Ohio, of some youth that had either been in trouble or disadvantage. I can't remember which. Some were troubled. They came with their principal and their guidance counselor. And we were really surprised, the article they wrote in the paper afterwards, how it changed their lives. They were inner city kids, and they found success and happiness in the wilderness. And now we would like to start to do more, but that costs money. We have to find grants or contributors to help us underwrite plane tickets from a long ways away. We had a group from Denver one time that came as well with their sponsor. And we'd like to have more inner city kids that don't get the experiences that our Montana youth get from their neighbors, parents, friends.
I love that. I love that.
Just
yeah.
this past June, Addison worked really hard to get a small group of kids from Wyoming here too.
Yeah, that was a cool project I'm originally from Wyoming. It was my hometown of Cheyenne. Got
Story of my life.
few
Fly in my
grants.
classroom. It's fly season. It's fly season.
And was able to bring a couple kids that, you know, they needed this trip, I'll put
Yeah.
it that way. And it was a 6-day through the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, going to Yellowstone National Park. These kids are from Wyoming, and they'd never been to Yellowstone or Grand Teton National Park. And then they spent a few days up here shooting bows, hiking, really connecting with one another, and just kind of escaping the noise that everybody has in their own personal lives. Being out here can really open people up in a really
Yeah.
unique way. And so that's a most recent, that was an impactful program, special one that I got to work on.
Yeah, I'd love to help out in any way possible with something along
Yeah.
those lines. I was on the way here telling Joe that my life's dream is to help kids like that and figure out ways for them to connect more with nature because
We'll
it's so
keep that in
important.
mind.
Yeah, seriously.
A volunteer
She's
is a volunteer.
I
It's
know.
happening right now.
Thank you.
20 years off Jack Creek Road, how has the road itself changed? I know there's more traffic now than there used to be.
A little more, especially when the workers from Ennis, they're going to Big Sky in the morning and when they're coming home in the evening.
Oh, right.
But that's the only time that it seems that way. And if they would just slow down and not go so fast,
Did you hear that, guys?
it would be really wonderful.
Yeah.
I creep along the road, and I have not had a problem in all these years. But there's been close calls when somebody's going too fast and they skid a little bit. But I haven't been in the creek, and other people have. So
Okay.
you have to slow down.
Yeah, slow and steady. All right.
Are there plans to pave it, and are you in favor of those plans should they come to pass?
No, I am not in
I
favor.
can't imagine
of
how
that.
fast people would go if it were paved.
Right. They
I
did
don't
try to
know.
widen it a little bit last year, the county road, and
Okay.
they did widen it, and they took down some trees. And it was too bad because it did make people go faster for a bit. But there are enough humps and bumps in the road still that are good that people will slow down. So.
Steep drop-offs.
And that widening did have some benefit, just with sedimentation in the creek too, though. They were able to put in like culverts and
Yeah.
other things with that widening. It was a little controversial, but that was a benefit for sure,
Okay.
to stop some of that sediment going into the creek there.
Has it had impacts on the wildlife, the increased traffic?
I haven't noticed that. I see a bear on the road once in a while,
Okay.
and I've seen a mountain lion on the road.
I see a lot of garter snakes hit on the road.
I feel like any
Yeah.
movement of people, vehicles. I mean, we may not be able to measure that just by our trips on the road, but
Right.
I imagine if you were to interview 3 elk or deer here, they might have a different story to tell.
Thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think more traffic and potential to pave would have a
Paving
impact
would be
on
bad.
Okay.
wildlife. It would fragment the habitat for the wildlife. We would have to switch gears from programming to like building overpasses or something.
I'm not going to ask any more about the road, okay? What I am going to do is offer up a game to you guys if you want to play. I think we're done with questions. Want to go out here. Michael's going to fly the drone, and he is going to try to find us. The hunters become the hunted.
Oh, I've had that in
All right.
Africa.
So if you would like to join us, we'll go outside, and Michael will give us a little head start, and we're going to try to find a place to hide, and he's going to look for us
Oh, okay.
with
Okay.
the drone here at the Jack Creek Nature Preserve. Does that sound good, Dottie?
You have
Sounds
the brightest
interesting.
colored shirt.
How far can we go?
I should have
We'll
worn
have
my
to figure the
camo.
rules out.
know.
as
Can we get in
go.
the side by side?
Yeah, you guys are
Yeah. How fast is your drone going?
Yeah.
Oh, it goes
Yeah, I
fast.
bet so.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Michelle, hurry.
Jog.
We have to stay together. There we go. We have to stay together. All right, do you know where we're going to hide?
Yeah.
Cricket's coming with us here.
Yeah. Play a lot of games out here.
Is this where the archery course gets set up?
Each one of these like numbered signs. We could go down back over there.
You think
Like a
so?
little bridge.
There we go. And is this all usable space in the winter as well?
Yeah, we build snow pits out here during that snow winter skills camp,
Yeah.
like here or even over there.
Is this where we want to go?
Sure.
This is our spot here?
We're in the woods, yeah.
Try to hide Michelle's shirt more than anything.
I'm gonna go into the
Put her in the tree.
I hear it. It's already looking.
How often do you play this game?
Never have.
What?
We do play a game like this at camp sometimes.
Okay,
Yeah, it's called camouflage.
but not with drones?
Not with drones.
Okay.
I'm sure they would love that.
Oh, I hear something.
Oh, I see it.
Oh no.
No big movement.
You see it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right above us. Way over.
It's like really hard.
It's actually a little scary. Just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Cricket's got the right idea here. Look at that. Turns out we're actually pretty good at this game, huh?
I guess we're the good kind.
want to go.
Uh-oh. Oh no, I think we've been spotted.
Make eye contact.
Quick, everybody run in different
He's
directions.
got us. Oh, well, it was good while it lasted.
That is spooky.
Yeah, that is spooky.
All right, Michael wins this round. Thank you guys so much for
Yes.
walking around with us and hosting us out at the Jack Creek Preserve. I
Hope to see you at some classes.
absolutely, folks need to sign up to come out here and just learn, right?
Yes, it's the best classroom.
Best classroom. Look at that.
Wait, did the camera ever get crooked?
Yes, we got cricket.